For this video, we're going to take a look at latitude, longitude, elevation, altitude, as well as some other things so that you can better understand how Google Earth will reference different locations on the surface of the Earth. So to start off, we're going to go to another spot here. We're going to fly out to Mount Everest, which is in Nepal here. It's going to take us to that point fairly quickly. And once we get there, you notice that we're sitting right on top of the world here. I'm going to remove the labels by clearing that fly to search there. And now I can kind of move around, look at different things using my mouse. Now the first thing I want you to notice is that on the bottom of the screen, what Google Earth will do is it will reference a latitude, longitude. As I move my mouse, that latitude and longitude will change to show where I am on the surface of the Earth based on that grid. The second thing I want you to notice is the elevation item. Now, there's an elevation and then there's an altitude. Those two items differ in that the elevation is based on the location on the surface of the Earth directly under the hand icon. So as I move from one spot to another, you notice that that elevation changes, but the eye elevation stays the same. So as I move toward, Mount Everest, which is somewhere right in here, what you're going to notice is that that's pretty much at the highest elevation that I can find right there. Now, the eye altitude, that references where I'm at in terms of my view of the Earth. So if I take my mouse and I roll it forward, notice that that eye altitude changes because it's like I'm moving down closer to the surface of the Earth. So my elevation may not change, but my eye altitude can change because I'm moving closer to the surface. So if I was in an imaginary plane and I was moving closer to the Earth's surface. The last thing I wanted to show you was the imagery dates. Now, these are sometimes hit and miss, so they don't always reference the correct data here. But what you're going to notice is that as I move into different locations, what this does is it kind of gives me a sense of the imagery that makes up this view that I'm looking at right here. So it looks like we've got some 2010 data from Digital Globe, GeoEye, and the U.S. Department of State Geographer. So there's lots of different imagery sources that come into play that make up this image here. Now, while we're talking about latitude, longitude, I wanted to show you one more thing here that some of you may not know yet. We've got our Fly To tab over here in our search panel, and most of the time we will put in place names, either places that reference like Mount Everest or other places, but we can also use latitude, longitude. For example, if I type in 45 point and I type in minus 114.3000, that's going to reference a point somewhere in the United States. And if I click on that, Google Earth knows that location references the latitude longitude grid, and you notice how it flies into this area and it takes me right down to that point on the surface of the Earth. So latitude longitude can be very useful in terms of finding a location, say maybe something you have from a GPS or coordinates other folks have given you. So that's how you use the latitude, longitude, and your elevation items found down at the bottom of your screen.